Afternoon again. Hello, it's John Stallard. Nice to see everybody here. It's Friday afternoon in Nottingham, home of the Wargamers. Chris has asked me to step into his studio to tell you what on earth's been going on in my life. Well, here in the UK, we've had tropical monsoons for the last week or so, and it's been hailstorms and thunderbolts and lightning. You name it, we've had it, and then insufferable heat the week before. It's being Britain, of course, so that's our summer. So we're hoping it's all going to calm down, because it's really difficult painting in the heat. It just, the paint sticks and cloys before you even get to put it on the model, and that's never good, is it? So looking forward to our open day in August. We've brought it forward a bit to make sure it gets into the sunnier weeks of Britain. But in the meantime, don't forget that we do tours of Warlord Towers here in Nottingham every Friday. So if you just go on the customer service website or give them a ring, you can book yourself into a fantastic tour of the whole of the complex. You get to see absolutely everything being done, a tour of the studio, all the casting areas, hacking, chats with the staff. It's really good. Grab yourself a car and a number of mates and come up and visit us. It's really good to see you all. So what I've been painting this week, well, as you well know, I've finally run out of Crimean models to paint. So I've turned my eye onto another obscure British campaign, and this time it's the Boer War. There were two Boer Wars, the first and the second, of course. One where the British were wearing their scarlet tunics and carrying single-shot Martini Henrys, and the second, longer Boer War, where we'd switched to going into khaki and carrying Lee Metford and Lee Enfield repeating rifles. I started writing a book on the Boer War during the pandemic, so that's 5 years ago now. It gave me something to do, and we've dug it out again and dusted it off. And Owen, who's a fantastic editor, and a chap called Colin, one of my pals, we've been working together to bring out the book again. And so I've been frantically painting up some models for playtesting, some a British infantry platoon here, I suppose we'd call it, in their trademark khaki, advancing in a skirmish line. By this time we'd learnt to spread out a lot to avoid the mass Boer Mauser fire, and I think they're looking very good, very splendid. And I'm busy painting mounted Boers as well, all in their rather dressed down farmers gear, but carrying the mighty Mauser here. And this is one of their commanders. And it's a strange thing that people say that the British officers would sometimes mark themselves out carrying swords and things, or being a bit flashy. They stopped doing it after a while. But interesting, the Boer commanders wore top hats. Well, how more distinctive can you be than that? But there we go. But having fun painting them, it's you can paint the Boers however you like. There was no uniform for the majority of the burghers there. So that's what's getting me excited. And the Boer War is, for me, definitely the first true modern war. Some people will say it was the American Civil War because they got trains and barbed wire and things like that. But I disagree, because if Wellington or Napoleon had been at Gettysburg, they'd have known how to fight those armies just the same as Lee or Grant did. The Boer War gives us machine guns, pom-pom guns, electricity, balloons, armoured trains, landmines, bolt-action rifles, you name it. It was a truly modern war. A few of you may know that the British started fielding... Oh, what have we got here? Splendid. The Royal Engineers, look at that, fielded balloon companies, and here's one we made earlier. And so I've had some great fun scratch building this balloon. And they used them to spy out the Boer positions, because the Boers were splendid at fieldcraft and would dig their trenches and entrenchments and gun positions and hope that the British would stumble forward into them, which quite often they did. However, the Royal Engineers, when aloft from behind the British lines, a few hundred feet up in the air, could spy them out and telephone down to the people where the Boer entrenchments were. So we're putting rules for this in the game as well. This is piano wire. Holding this up, I've got to attach it to a wagon, to keep it up here. And it's been great fun making it. How have we made it? Well, the first thing was to go to your local hobby store, hobby shop, Hobby Lobby, or wherever it might be, and buy a polystyrene ball. You could use a tennis ball, but this one's polystyrene. And then the next thing you need to go to your local supermarket and buy some oranges or onions with this netting around them, and just take the netting off, and it works very well as the rigging for the balloon. Then pop into your studio and get one of your studio guys to make a really nice basket, because he just did it a lot tighter than I would, and put this rigging on here. Then go and blag from your local florists some florist wire, and they'll probably give you that for free if it's one piece, or you could always buy some flowers for somebody you love. And then you're going to need some crew for it. So then I had to find some Royal Engineers to man the balloon. They'd be equipped with either binoculars or telescopes. So I went through our range, and it's remarkable how many models we make with telescopes and periscopes. The one I'm going to use is this fella, who is actually from Oswald Mosley's crew, and he's the spotter for the anti-tank gun. So he's using an old-fashioned, lovely telescope. So he pops into the balloon basket very nicely. I might put a sun hat on him, I don't know, but he's quite good like that. And then I went to our old Zulu range of our Zulu plastics, and there's a guy there. I put a Glengarry hat on him there, which makes him look a bit more different. And he's actually got a martini bullet. He's ready to load, but I'm just going to paint that up as some sort of cheroot. He's going to have a crafty fag. Probably not a good idea with a hydrogen balloon, but that's for him to worry about. So both of those will go in the basket too. And they're going to do the spotting for the British artillery. Look out, Johnny Boer. Not quite sure when we're going to have the Boer War book ready. It's coming along very nicely. It's going to look very attractive. It'll be a few months yet, but it'll be worth waiting for. And in the meantime, we're going to get some games in, and well, it should be fun. Chris reminds me over the next week or two, we're going to pop over to my house and take some pictures of my gaming table to compare it with Rick's, which isn't quite as big as some of you may know. But we'll also take pictures of the various weapons. I've got some Boer War period weapons, which would be good fun to take some pictures of, I think. And then Chris will go over to Rick's house and see his gaming table, which isn't quite as big as mine, and photograph Rick's World War II Russians, which look fantastic, and some of Rick's mighty Roman armies that he's created over the years, and his wonderful gaming room. So looking forward to that. One last thing, really. Sadly, John Blanche passed away last week, who's the most amazing Games Workshop artist who's done an awful lot of work for the model soldier industry over the years. So he was a great colleague to work with, and I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with John's work. But salute to John. Somebody's written in and asked, are we going to do some more command strips for our Epic system, for our Ancients games? Well, we haven't planned to, but as usual with Warlord, never say never. I don't see why we shouldn't do it. We did them for the American Civil War, and they've been quite popular. So that would be a nice thing to do. Thanks for the idea. As you know, we've done a lot of work on the Pacific Theatre World War II recently, and a couple of you have been asking, are we making specific Australian and New Zealand plastics? I don't think we will for a while. It would be nice to do the Aussies for sure, because they look so distinctive. But we do lots of metal sets for the Australians, covering the Owen guns and their commandos and their distinctive looking uniforms. But no specifics in plastic at the moment. Thinking about it, the Commonwealth book is out very shortly, and Brad, our amazing American-Australian friend who does our podcasts, he's just done 2 editions of his podcast on the Commonwealth forces, and he's done the Aussies in Italy and in the Western Desert. But the next one he's going to do is covering Australians again and the Kiwis. So make sure you keep an ear out for that when it comes out. Last week, somebody wrote in about doing American War of Independence cavalry units, American cavalry and British cavalry. And I said we didn't have any immediate plans for doing that, but we did. I have to agree, it is a small gap. And they've also asked about Tarleton's Legion, who were both foot and mounted, quite distinctively looking, actually. It would be really good to complete that set with Tarleton and his boys, and some of the Loyalist cavalry as well. Not loyal, yeah, the Loyalist cavalry and some of the Revolutionary War cavalry. That would be nice. We will have another look at that. Well prompted. Many of you have been asking about when's the next epic coming out and what is it? Well, I still can't tell you what it is, but it will be announced, I think, the end of June. We'll have it ready for photography. So, and there'll be pre-sales then. And I think looking to a release in September. It's a cracker. We've had a request for the Italian Portee type lorries with anti-tank guns and howitzers on. And somebody's saying, when are those going to be released? Well, that's a good question. And I'm unfortunate I don't have that answer here. As you know, we're working through all of our artillery pieces to convert them all from metal, which doesn't glue together very well, to plastic. And we're just doing that for the 6-pounder. So we'll be going for a plastic 57mm stroke 6-pounder in plastic. And we're doing the same for the French with their 75s. So it will be most likely that we'll be doing the same with the Italians as well, which then that would be the time to put them on their transport. So we're working our way towards it. It's good that you want them. So keep writing in. A number of you have written in quite correctly saying, when's Vanguard coming out? Vanguard being a board game that we've done in association with another company in Nottingham. It's all being finished now. We're getting the plastics cut, and we're just making announcements at the moment about when it's going to come out. But it's on the way. A lot of you have been very patient with us. Things just conspire sometimes, and things take longer. I'm very sorry it's taken a little while, but it's on the way now, and we're on the home stretch. So we should put out some very firm announcements very soon. We've had a note in for a chap called Big Man, who asked us, will we do some either sepoy troops, Indian sepoys who fought with Wellesley in India, and or Turkish troops to fight against the French in Battle of Abuka Bay or wherever it would be in the Napoleonic Wars. Yeah, eventually we'd do those. He asked in 28mm or in epic scale. Yeah, in the passage of time, that would be lovely to do that. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. It's not in the next 2 years though, but we're working our way through history.
That's a lot of history.
It's a lot of history.
Right,
I've got to think of some way of supporting this balloon. I think I need a big lead block on the table, otherwise it will be droopy, and you don't want a droopy balloon on the tabletop, that's for sure. So thanks for watching, and talk to you again next week. Cheerio. So I went into my local florist shop. I buy a lot of flowers from, which is a lovely dear. And I said, do you have any florist wire? She said, yeah, of course. I said, can I have a piece? And she gave me this really thin piece. I said, it's a bit thin. Do you have any thicker? She said, what do you want it for? I said, you don't want to know. She said, go on, try me. I said, I'm making a Royal Engineer balloon from 1899 for the Boer War, for the tabletop game. She said, really? I said, really? And I said, tell me more. I said, you can't possibly be interested in this. She said, oh, sounds fascinating. I said, honestly? She said, yeah. So I explained to her how I was making it. So she was quite chuffed and thought it was amusing. So they gave me 2 free pieces of wire. There we go.